First of all, I want to thank you for setting aside time to hear about a new kind of wellness and how you can level up your quality of life, the safety of your home, and maybe even boost your income. So, what is this new kind of wellness? Well, it's called prevention. So, prevention is the new cure, you guys. I want to start by asking all of you a question. How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? Again, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And how do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? And I want you to be specific and as detailed as you can be as you visualize yourself in your 70s and 80s. How will the 70-year-old you and the 80-year-old you look, feel, and live based on your choices today? So I want to just say again, my name is Andrea Scott. I was born on the beautiful island of Jamaica, Mon. Okay. I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and went to college in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Today, I live in Jacksonville, Florida, with my best friend and my soulmate, Nate Scott, who's also the author of the book, Life is Rich: How to Create Lasting Wealth. And I'll tell you a little bit more about how that book changed my life. I'll tell you about that a little later. So, a few things I want you to know about me. One is I love God. Two, I love my family. Three, I really love people. And four is I love freedom. And that's why I love what I do. And there are these three things that I absolutely value in my life. I value my faith, my health, and like I said, I value my freedom. And that is also why I'm compelled to do what I do. So I want you all to get a sense of who I am and what drives me to share what I'm going to share with you today. Excuse me. Because after the Zoom, I may never see you guys again. However, if what I share with you today makes total sense for you and your family, like it made sense to me 10 years ago, then we will be lifelong travel buddies, partners in a faith-based, I always get tongue-tied with that, in a faith-based wellness community, and perhaps we will lock arms together to create a collective of kingdom-minded people who are for real living out, being the head and not the tail, being above and not beneath, and being the lenders and not the borrowers. So, a little bit about my background. I have been a full-time 1099 entrepreneur since February 1st of 1996. That's when I resigned my full-time management job after being offered a significant promotion with an insignificant raise. The problem with my company's offer was that I really didn't love the job in the first place. And at the age of 19 and 20, I knew exactly the kind of life I wanted to live. I wanted to live a life of freedom. And what I was doing for work professionally was not it. I specifically wanted three types of freedoms. One, financial freedom. I wanted to be able to create the income that I wanted to create. I wanted to write my own check. Number two, I wanted time freedom. The time freedom was what I wanted to be able to work when I want to work and play when I want to play. And number three, I wanted location freedom, meaning I wanted to be able to make my office anywhere. If it was in Italy, if it was in Jamaica, if it was at my mom's house, if it was in my car, or if it was in my home office. And that's really when I realized that I was born to be an entrepreneur. So I kindly thanked my company for the offer. I told them no and went home to write my letter of resignation that I turned in on Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1996. And 2 weeks later, I gained my freedom as I took a major leap, you guys. I took a major leap of faith and became a full-time entrepreneur. Y'all, I had no money saved in the bank. I had no investments. The same bills were coming in. I had no rich husband. I had no inheritance, and I had no plan B. All I had was a dream in my heart, faith in God, faith in myself, and a knowing that I would not fail. So on February 1st, 1996, at the age of 29, I started my forever journey of entrepreneurship because of a little side hustle I started really part-time 2 years earlier with a company called Mary Kay Cosmetics. And that's where Paula and I know each other. And with that little part-time business, that's how I started on my my road to freedom. Okay. And so mother, my mother, Salome, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself out, please. Thank you. So my mother, y'all, was a beauty consultant with Mary Kay. She recruited me because she believed that I could sell ice to an Eskimo. Meanwhile, I had no desire to sell anything, let alone moisturizer and lipstick, until I went to an event and saw all three of my freedoms in action on display. And y'all, I was all in. I got married. I left Philadelphia and moved to Jacksonville. And my then husband pastored a church here in the city. He still does. And I was the first lady until we divorced after 17 years in 2014. You'll read about that in my next book. But from January 1997 to April of 2003, in a city where I didn't know a soul, I put together a team of dedicated, courageous women who also wanted more out of life. And I led them to the highest achievement in the company, breaking a record both locally and nationally because of my vision of helping women to succeed and my desire for a life of personal freedom. What we did together, you all, I became the 17th woman of color and the youngest woman of color to achieve the highest rank in the history of Mary Kay, a record that has not been broken in 22 years. I built a multiple seven-figure income over my lifetime with Mary Kay. And if you go to the corporate office in Dallas, my official portrait is forever displayed in their Hall of Fame. And I did retire from Mary Kay on January 13th, 2020, after 26 and a half years with the company. So how did I get here? In 2015, I became a shopper with this wellness club upon the recommendation of a guy that I met who happened to be an executive business coach. I met him outside of LA Fitness, and he stopped me because he saw my pink Cadillac and handed me a copy of his book, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. I read the first few chapters of his book and knew that I needed to put him in front of my team. He did a conference call with them and then an in-person workshop, and finally I hired him as my personal business coach for 90 days to help me to transition from where I was in my Mary Kay career at the time to where I really wanted to be. I shared with him my financial goals and some health concerns, and that's when he told me about the Wellness Shopping Club. I watched a short video like you're going to watch in a few minutes. I got the facts, asked all of my questions, and quickly made a yes decision. It made total sense to me to stop cleaning dirt with poison. Let me say that again. It made sense to me to stop cleaning dirt with poison, and that clean and green were better than chemicals and toxins, particularly, you guys, since my mom is a breast cancer survivor. My dad had type 2 diabetes since I was a kid, and he died of cancer in 2016. My sister died of cancer in 2020, and I was diagnosed with high blood pressure in my mid 40s. So I made the switch. And the sad thing about it is that I had heard about this company for a long time, but nobody ever gave me the information about it. So I was in the dark for 30 years and didn't open my shopping account until I was 50 years old. So remember the question I asked you guys in the beginning? Well, I knew exactly how I wanted to look, feel, and live. I wanted to look fit and fabulous. I wanted to feel energetic and excited about life. And I wanted to live in fullness every day. I didn't want to be sick. I didn't want to be out of shape. I didn't want to be in chronic pain. I didn't want to be on a walker or in a wheelchair, and definitely not on medication. So for me, the Wellness Shopping Club met my need of living a quality life, aging well, and it solved the problem of where can I go to get all of my household and personal care products all in the same place? The answer for me was the Wellness Club, also known as Melaleuca.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is us, myself and Paula, and whoever else invited you on this Zoom, giving you the information the right way so that you can make a conscious decision as an educated consumer. So, with this short 12-minute video introduction to the store that I'm about to share with you, I'm going to ask each of you one specific question. And that question is, what did you like most about what you saw and heard? So be sure to pay attention while you watch the video. And let me go ahead and share my screen.